I'm Emily.
And I'm Hannah.
We are best friends and dietitians. We have a goal of challenging nutrition misinformation and fitness trends with an evidence-based approach.
Each episode, we will dish up our thoughts about the latest facts on a popular health-related topic.
We're the Up-Beet Dietitians. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Up-Beet Dietitians podcast.
Hello, guys. Welcome back. Today, we are talking all about a phenomenon called food combining. Food combining is a not so new wellness culture diet that's been floating around, and we wanted to discuss why this approach is likely not a good fit for you. So we're going to go over what food combining is, the claims around it, and we're also going to go over why those claims are generally pretty false.
Yay. I like how you said phenomenon.
That felt good to say.
Yeah.
Felt good to say. I feel like it was
something
very
strange going on.
It's a phenomenon, that's for sure.
Yeah. So kind of starts off on what is food combining if you have not already heard of it before. So it's this really popular trend going around, and the wellness cultural gurus are all for it, of course, like any trend.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, its claim is we shouldn't be eating certain foods either together or we should eat them separately, essentially. I don't know if I just said the same thing. We should eat some foods together, some should be eaten separately.
Yeah.
Essentially to better the digestion and metabolism of different foods, especially with nutrient absorption, and in case some food combinations increase chances of like gas, bloating, toxin buildup, or if the food is not moving quickly enough throughout our digestive tract.
Yeah, we'll get into why that is something you don't want to happen. Mm-hmm. A little spoiler, diarrhea is usually unwanted by most people.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a list of do's and don'ts. So Emily, why don't I go over the do's? You can go over the don'ts. Okay, so some of the do's, and there's a list of them, there's a lot, so buckle up. Always eat fruit on an empty stomach. Protein is to be paired with non-starchy vegetables. Fats can be paired with non-starchy vegetables as well. Carbohydrates can also be paired with non-starchy vegetables. Always wait 3 to 4 hours between meals before switching categories, and only consume dairy on an empty stomach.
These are some wild rules.
They're definitely based in science.
Non-starchy vegetables with everything, apparently. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then kind of the don't side of foods we should eat separately. Don't combine starches and protein. Don't mix fats and protein. A melon should be eaten alone and never paired with other fruits.
Frickin' melon.
Don't drink. Gosh dang it, melon. Don't drink liquids with meals. Don't combine starches with acidic foods. Don't combine different types of protein. And don't eat fruits or vegetables at the same time. This like stresses me out thinking about all these things.
It's exhausting.
And I'm like, we'll get into it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the big idea, like where these rules kind of stem from, is like what Emily already said, is we don't want to cause a traffic jam. We want to have our food go through us as quickly as possible, so we feel nice and light and airy. And their claim is that if you eat fast digesting fruits, such as like fruit, for example, along with a slow digesting fruit, like a protein, like maybe chicken breast, this can cause that traffic jam, and this can cause that digestive distress and toxic buildup. I can't even say that without feeling like a fool.
I know. If we ate, just a thought, this is already like foreshadowing like the entirety of this episode,
I know.
But if I just
they knew coming into it.
Like thinking about like, I have to get all my food through me, I would just drink coffee.
Yeah.
Like, if they want everything to be digested quickly, just take a laxative. That's not medical advice I'm giving right now, but there's a better way to go about this than the food combining route.
Right.
But kind of going into, we already kind of talked about some of the different claims, but that's specifically the improving digestion, to feel lighter and have more energy. I feel like it really depends on the types of foods you eat, not the volume. It's not even the volume of food at times. There are no like quantitative rules. It's food combination. And we don't want you to digest your food quickly, because not only can that inhibit absorption of essential nutrients in different components of our GI tract, but also you don't want to go poo like 5+ times a day. Well, even then, like, I don't know what the average amount actually is.
This is a good time to plug Andy's blog post. We'll link a good blog post from a future guest you guys will be hearing from.
But yeah, we don't want you going to the bathroom all the time, all day. I don't think you would want that either. You've got things to do and can't spend half your day on the toilet.
Exactly.
Additionally, the claim of, moving on.
Where do we go from poo?
Preventing toxic buildup. Food, your GI tract is very smart, and it is doing everything in its power to not have any type of buildup or anything like that. It naturally pushes food through, takes the nutrients. Obviously, if you have some type of GI disease, absorption or metabolism might look a bit differently, but for the average human being, your stomach is not going to get too acidic or alkaline. I was about to say alkalinic. I don't know if that's a word. I don't think it's not. I'm just making up words. Your pH will not get messed up by food. Your body has a very, not even from like a acid base perspective, like it has a strong, like stomach acid is strong. It does a good job of breaking down foods and making sure that nothing gets too wonky down in there. And also toxin buildup is probably not going to be solved through food combination. And even then, the different toxins that could potentially build up are from extreme cases of different diseases, typically, where like you're in like failure of some type of like, or some organ is failing you.
Yes, that's what I wanted to point out, is that if you actually have like toxic buildup, don't do some like food combining like detox reset to get it fixed. Like go to the hospital.
Please seek urgent medical assistance at that time.
Right. Not pairing fruit and chicken breast together is not going to fix the problem.
No, absolutely not. Okay. And then the last thing, so many fun things that these claims. The last one is promoting weight loss, because most of these trends always have some component of weight loss. Any weight loss that can occur from this is not to be attributed to food pairing. There is no research behind food pairing and weight loss. Your body does not decide to release fat stores or gain fat stores based off of food pairing. It's not really involved with that at all. Maybe if you're going to the bathroom 5+ times a day and you don't have anything in your GI tract, then you might lose some weight, but that's because there's nothing inside of you.
Yeah, you'll lose some weight, but you're not going to lose fat from that. You're just going to lose some contents of your intestines, which adds up. So I guess if that's your goal, great, you've accomplished something.
Yeah. Not a fun way to go with weight loss.
No, there's better approaches.
Okay,
let's go over, we've kind of already talked a little bit. Let's get specific about what is wrong with food combining. So first of all, there is no evidence to support this. In my research, I was finding this is like a really old concept, but as diets do, they just like keep reinventing themselves and coming about in new ways, keto is the new Atkins, whatever. But there is not any evidence to support the claims that we've kind of listed off that food combining is supposed to have. Let's talk digestion, shall we? Let's go into how digestion actually works.
Mhm.
Anyone who's taken like a biochem class or anatomy should know this. And I feel like we learned about digestion in like 7th grade health class. So I don't know how these food combining health coaches are coming up with this. But anyway, so the first step of digestion happens in our mouth. We're chewing our food and certain enzymes are released to help break down the food. So amylase is an enzyme that is released to break down carbs, and lipase is an enzyme that is released to break down fats. And the protein enzyme comes later, so we'll get to that. So we chew, 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 the enzyme cocktail comes to be, and then that food bolus enters the stomach and gastric acid is released along with more enzymes. So now pepsin enters the chat, which is the enzyme that breaks down protein. And I wanted to pause here and stop and say that all of these enzymes are working at the same time. So that is one of the flaws with food combining, is that it kind of assumes that you can only break down one of these at a time. And so if you combine them, it's going to slow things down. But our body is very good at having all these enzymes come to break down all 3 of those macronutrients. And so that is not a concern. Plus, most of the foods that we eat are composed of more than one macronutrient anyway. Like there are very few foods that are just composed of like just protein or just fat or just carbs. And so it would be very, very challenging for the body to digest food, very inefficient if we could only do one macronutrient at a time.
Just thinking about that, I was like, for like nuts example, like nuts are both a fat and a protein. What's it gonna do? Like
Just the
nicely
fats,
separate it. Like you first,
exactly.
you next. Now it's time. Yeah, I'm choking on my spit. I'm so sorry. Digestion would take so long. Like I think it takes, is it 12 to 30 hours for our body to digest food? I think is
Something
about
like
the
that.
average time. It would take like 60 hours.
It'd be like
to,
a week's process just to like,
yeah. And we would also be so bloated from holding all that food in our stomach and like our intestines, and like talk about like a traffic jam. This is really like a very this is one of our most graphic episodes. But
right.
if it took that long to metabolize each macronutrient by itself, like you would be in so much pain, or
Yeah.
our bodies would probably look very different.
True.
Like
That's something to chew on.
slow.
That's, I do
Fun
wonder.
question. How would our bodies look if we metabolized one macronutrient at once? And also, what order would it be decided in that?
Ooh.
But if you put like a different order, like would one prioritize over the other and suddenly switch? And then
Right.
maybe we'd grow like 3 stomachs like a cow. Maybe that's
Like a cow.
one for each macronutrient.
That's awesome.
Maybe I'm gonna draw that now. I'm gonna create that picture. Like,
Yeah.
this is what we would look like.
Just to like show how dumb it would be. So bottom line, if you do food combining, you'll turn into a cow. I don't know what we kind of were drawing from that,
Yeah.
but okay. But anyway, once the food is in the stomach, it then goes out of there into the small intestine. And then at this time, the pancreas releases digestive enzymes and bicarbonate to neutralize that stomach acid. So another point here is that our body at all times is trying to balance that pH, like Emily was saying. And this is another example of that. So our body is really good at that. You don't want to intentionally alkalize. I just had a stroke. Alkalize or acidify your body.
Nope, we don't want that, because that will lead to many other problems.
Yeah.
We just keep going back to this point of you don't want your food going through your GI tract quickly, because the longer it takes, not only from like the having to go to the bathroom like a million times a day, but also from the perspective of satiety and like feeling full and hunger cues, stuff like that, because the longer food takes to digest, the longer we feel full. So that's pretty common practice where dietitians will recommend adding like a protein or a fat with some carb source at meals or snack times, just so people feel fuller for longer periods of time, because those macronutrients tend to be metabolized a bit slower. And if your macros are being, or all your food is being metabolized quickly, you're going to get hungry again really quickly. And it's perfectly fine to honor your hunger cues, but you'll probably, from like a physiological standpoint, food's going to be going around and out really quickly, and you'll have to be refueling that like every hour or so. And
You'll be honoring those cues all day long.
yeah, it'll be like a full-time job to like go to the bathroom, eat, go to the bathroom, eat, go. You won't have time for anything else.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing there. We talked about the diarrhea in great detail.
Hannah, no, diarrhea is not fun. That is not our scientific opinion. That is
based on experience.
Based on experience, based on what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's the only thing up for debate in this entire episode, since we don't have it based by science.
We should have made a disclaimer at the beginning that if you don't want to hear about poop, don't listen to this episode.
Everyone poops. They need to know about this.
Oh, I'm used to it. Everyone always comes, like patients will come into my office, my little exam room, and be like, oh, I'm so embarrassed, but this is happening with my constipation or whatever. I'm like, I talk about this day in, day out. Like
literally every person we talk about.
Yes. I'm like, there's nothing these four walls have not already heard about bowel movements. So like, it's fine. I'm like, I want to talk about it.
Yeah. I guess we should have put disclaimer at the beginning, like, don't eat or anything if you have like a sensitive stomach. Well, now's your warning. If you didn't stop
through
already.
the episode, it's not too late for you to turn back.
It's true. We probably got most of it out. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Now that
so
we
the
got
next, diarrhea. Let's see. I think that's most of the diarrhea talk for the day. So you're lucky if it's good. You're good. You're good. I promise. Actually, I'm not going to promise, but let's hope. Okay. We haven't really touched on bloating too much, but bloating is another claim that food combining is sometimes claimed to help with. Bloating is normal. I mean, most people experience bloating to some degree, but that being said, if it is painful or frequent, this kind of goes back to that toxic buildup thing, where if you are having like painful, frequent bloating, don't do food combining or some short-term fix to resolve that. Like go see your doctor. Something might be going on. There's a lot of different causes of bloating that can be hopefully easily fixed, and you don't have to keep just doing Band-Aid after Band-Aid to kind of cover it up.
Yep. That's I don't really have anything to add.
Yep. Bottom line, don't do medical a quick fix.
Help. Yeah. Seek at least a second opinion.
True.
Before you do something.
Yeah.
We're circling back around to ending on our always fun note of weight loss and why the food combination or foods eaten separately will not really attribute to any weight loss progress. Like we kind of noted, I think the weight loss or weight management tips episode has already come out by now.
I think so, yeah.
So go listen to that, because we go a lot more in depth about dietitian approved ways to make sustainable changes that are realistic, but kind of giving you a bit of a summary related to food combinations specifically. Weight loss is mostly seen with eating more fruits and vegetables in general, eating less because you can't combine food. Yes, because if you're not combining food, then you're probably eating less calories.
Exactly.
And if you're being so hyper aware of food combination, you're probably eating a lot less calories overall, since you feel like you probably can't eat a lot, which looking at those rules, I wouldn't know what to eat and when and what to eat. So I probably wouldn't eat that much. I'd probably lose weight. And then additionally, since there are so many rules about what you can combine, meals might seem a bit boring and bland, because I'm just going to go eat some chicken breast by myself because I can't combine it with anything else. So you probably won't overeat, especially with like food combining, because you might just get bored of eating one thing at a time and then waiting 3 to 4 hours to eat something else. Like I would probably eat like a protein, a fruit, and maybe a vegetable each day, and like one serving. or maybe I probably would eat more because I'd be so hungry, honestly. But you can't,
Yeah.
there's so many rules with combination that you're probably, once again, going to be in a caloric deficit, and that will probably lead to weight loss. So you
Yes.
don't need to do food combination, food separation to lose weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Any weight loss you see is just because you're in a caloric deficit because of the reasons Emily just said. Like, it's not because of the food combining.
Yeah.
Ugh, sounds terrible to me.
So many rules.
So many rules. That's what I don't love. And with the weight loss too, like, yeah, if you do lose the weight from all these food rules, how long can you really stick to that? Like,
Yeah.
you
Like
can't
when
do
you go
that
out to
forever.
eat,
True.
what are you
That's
going
a
to
good
do?
point.
Are you just going to eat a side of broccoli and nothing else? And I think one of the rules was you can't combine liquids in your meal. So you can't even drink a
Oh my
fun
gosh.
drink
Right.
or a water.
Right. You can't even have water with your broccoli. That's a stupid rule. That's pretty stupid. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah. And if it sounds super restrictive, then it probably is.
Yeah.
And we don't want to develop any disordered eating habits. This is a no disordered eating habit development zone.
Trying to think of what the acronym that would be. NDEDZ. NEDS.
Neds. This is Ned.
No. NEDES.
Nids. No eating.
NEDEDS.
No disordered eating development. Nids. Because I didn't want to say. I was gonna say I didn't want this to be a no disordered eating zone, because like that's something we're both very passionate about and we want to help people with. But
yeah,
this zone is not. We are not promoting disordered eating here. This restriction will, and there's a very high chance it could lead to disordered eating. Yeah. And a poor relationship with food, because I wouldn't like eating food if there were all these rules, especially as strict as these are.
And then you feel so guilty when you broke a rule, and you're likely to break a rule when there's like 18 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, bottom line, you guys probably guessed it off the bat that we didn't love the idea of food combining, but it is a fad. It has strict rules. It's not sustainable for most lifestyles. Our digestive tract could handle a lot more than what this diet gives it credit for. It can break down multiple food groups at once. It's not going to get jammed up. And if it does get jammed up, go to the doctor so you don't have a bowel obstruction. We encourage you to actually combine foods, especially if you are eating carbs, to always pair those with protein, healthy fiber, and fat to help you. Healthy fat and fiber. I think all fiber is healthy fiber. Anyway, pair your carbs with other foods to help you stay full and stabilize those blood sugars.
Yeah, that's the only type of food combining here. But it's much more general. And it's just like, it's essentially don't eat a simple carb by itself.
Yeah. And if you do, it's fine. Just don't do it all the time.
Yeah. So I don't really have anything to add to that. It's been fun talking about food combination and pooping.
Poop.
So it's time for a bonus question. And this week's is something I have never heard of. I've never heard this question.
I'm so excited for this question.
I'm glad you are, because I was just like, okay. But the question is the ocean a soup?
There's so many ways we can like break this down.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I started by Googling soup definition. Let me read that off to you from Wikipedia.
Okay, I'm ready.
Well, here, there's like 3 different definitions. The first one is a liquid dish typically made by boiling meat, fish, or vegetables in stock or water. So I would say, besides the idea of the ocean is not really a dish for most people, and it's not usually boiling.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. The other definition is soup is a substance or mixture perceived to resemble soup in appearance or consistency. Wait. So the definition is the perception of the actual thing that's being defined? Okay, that one we're nixing. And then this is Wikipedia's definition. The other one came from the Oxford Languages. Okay, Wikipedia says that soup is primarily liquid food. I guess that's a keyword there. Generally served warm or hot, that is made by combining ingredients of meat or vegetables with stock, milk, or water. Hot soups are additionally characterized by boiling solid ingredients in liquids in a pot until the flavors are extracted, forming a broth. I'm just really excited for this question. I thought it was very creative and I was excited about it.
It was. I was thinking, my first thought was, no one's eating the ocean. So it's not like no one has a spoon out. But then I was like, okay, what is eating the ocean? And then I thought of like whales.
Oh, it's whale soup.
Yeah, because like I thought of like in Finding Nemo when the whales, or like I think blue whales or probably other whales do this as well, like they filter out the krill and the liquid comes out through it. So they're like filtering out the broth of their soup, but they're also swimming in their soup.
I mean, if I had a pool full of soup, I would swim in it too, given the opportunity to do so.
So
if it presented itself, I would do it.
Yeah. But like no one else could be in there because like then they'd be dirty and I'd be freaked out by that.
Yeah, it'd have to be like a close friend or something. That's the only situation. I don't even know if I'd swim in the soup pool with you, to be honest.
No, I would be like only me and my like krill.
It was like a really big pool where you could like stay on separate sides. And it was like for a short time where like I knew that your body parts wouldn't get to my body parts. Unless we swam for hours, in which case it'd probably get gross.
But like, okay, this is going off topic. And this isn't the question. But what type of soup would you want to swim in?
That's for next week. No, okay. That's a good question. I mean, I wouldn't want it to be too hot. It'd have to be like either like a cold pea soup, which would be probably really a good texture to swim in, or like any other soup, but like at room temperature. I mean, it depends. Are we swimming in it to eat it, or are we swimming in it for like the way it feels?
We're swimming in it because we're like a whale and we're living in the soup.
So I have to live in the soup
so we
forever?
Need to live in it. Well, you at least need to swim in it and you have to eat it.
Swim in it and eat it forever.
We'll say for a short period of time.
Okay.
Because it'll get bad probably.
Oh, yeah. Unless you did like a broth, probably lasts a lot longer. Okay, if I had to live in a soup for a short time that I could swim in and eat. What? Oh my gosh. I mean, I gotta just go with like one of my favorite soups, which is like a loaded potato soup.
That'd be comfy. You can use like the potatoes as like
floaties. And there'd be bacon there to munch on. It'd be great.
Yeah.
The cheese would get like really like stringy and sticky though, which I know you hate.
But that's like algae.
Oh, algae. I was like, what did you just say? Yes, it would be.
Or like seaweed, you just get caught up in it. But at least you could eat it.
It's true. Okay, what soup would you live in for a short time that you could also eat?
So my biggest thing is I would want it to be a clear liquid in case I got stuck somewhere and I couldn't see. So
you're thinking safety as well.
Yes, because like this is completely obscure, but like what if the ocean was soup and I was in the ocean and this like shark snuck up on me, but I couldn't see? Like granted, like if I'm the ocean and a shark is sneaking up on me, like there's nothing I can do about it. But at least with a clear liquid, then I'd see it.
True.
Or so I was thinking just chicken noodle because I can see through that pretty clearly. There's not a lot. There's like fun noodles. There's not a lot that would like freak me out or cause any reactions. Because if also I did like a dairy one, like imagine I'm just like.
Yeah, if we did the loaded potato, you couldn't come to that party.
No, I would not go anywhere near. I would starve if I had to like live in loaded potato soup. But the temperature was a very good point because I like my soups like scalding hot.
Same.
but I don't like staying in like a hot tub for a long period of time.
Also same.
So probably then a lukewarm chicken noodle soup.
I think that tastes better than a lukewarm potato soup though.
Oh,
Because that would
yeah.
get like all curdled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Temperature wise, yours is definitely a better choice. And safety wise, which I didn't consider.
Well, I didn't say there were animals in it. I thought I didn't preface
I thought it was
that.
just you and me in the soup pool, but I guess not. I guess there's
Well,
sharks.
I had to make it make it the scenario that we had to survive. Like if it was a pool, we could get out.
That's true.
Maybe it'd be like, have you watched Squid Games? I'm just
No,
all over
I
the
need
place
to.
right now. Oh my gosh, you need to watch it. What if
I
there was
do.
a game where you had to live in a huge thing of soup and there were animals in it that could attack you, but you also had to eat this? That would be gross because there'd be a ton of people in the soup. But it was like a 3-day survival, like in soup with these scary animals. And you had to like make your own raft out of food though. So people are already like trying to eat your raft.
My God. Well, in that scenario, I don't know. I guess yours would be pretty good too, because like chicken's pretty sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking like noodles aren't as sturdy as a potato.
No, those probably sink.
Yeah.
Probably, maybe in that case, French onion soup, because that's still clear, but like croutons can float.
That's true. They get pretty soggy though after 3 days.
That's true.
After like
That's
2
when it would get
minutes.
exciting, when everyone's like boat is sinking.
Everyone's good at first on their croutons and they start getting soggy.
Someone hire us to make a TV show. There will be all these survival games with food.
We just need like another podcast where it's us just thinking of different food survival games.
Yeah.
I think we could take our bonus questions and literally turn those into an alternate podcast.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. We can do a
Yeah.
whole episode just on that. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what we'll start doing, because that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
That'd be
it'd
so
like
fun.
if we did like a fun one.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Where we just debate outrageous things. Like if you had to survive in an ocean full of soup.
Yeah, back to the initial question, is the ocean a soup? I think if you turn it into one by putting it into a pool, then yes.
Maybe I think the ocean might be soup to a whale, but not to us.
I agree.
So it depends
because
who you're asking.
yeah, next time you see a whale, ask what its thoughts are on this question. If you refer them to this podcast, we'll give you a shout out, a $5 Venmo. What do you want?
Yeah, we'll give you some exclusive thing if you get a whale's take on it. An ocean soup.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was.
We hope
I don't have the words to describe what just happened. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. We hope you learned a little something. Let us know what diet you want us to debunk next, and we will gladly do so. And we will see you guys next week.
All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in on this episode of the Up-Beet Dietitians with your hosts, Emily Krause and Hannah Thompson.
We appreciate you all so much for continuing to support us. In order to support us and sustain the success of this podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating and review.
If you'd like to provide us feedback for future episodes and guest stars, follow us on Instagram at the Up-Beet Dietitians.
Lastly, you can show us support by providing a monthly donation using the link at the end of our bio.
Once again, thank you so much for listening today, and stay tuned next Wednesday for a new episode. Until then, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.